Hello friends, Hal here. Today we're doing a live broadcast, and it is now 12:02 by my clock, and it's Saturday, September 5th, 2015. I have posted for you, you'll see my first comment, my first suggested topic is C major scale. What are the chords in that scale? And if you look at the link there, just click on the link, and that will take you to the C major scale sheet. And C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You see right at the top, it has C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And this is my major scale sheet. It's actually based on the circle of fifths. Now, I had a question. His question was, why does the next scale start 7 semitones above the C? Well, 7 semitones is 7 half steps. For those of you who are in the US, semitones are what we talk about in the UK. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 semitones. And it takes us to G, the G note, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scale notes up. And the first note is a C, and the fifth note is a G, and we call that a perfect fifth. If you go over to the intervals link and click on that, you will see intervals there, and it has, this is actually intervals for guitar. And I started with E, and you'll notice that if you go down the page, it says E-B, right? Now here's an E and here's a B. That's 7 semitones, or 7 half steps, or 7 frets above the E. And if you listen to that, if we play that, it sounds like a low version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. And it's hard for me to sing that because it's so low. But if we did it here, twinkle, twinkle, little star, right? The first two notes, E to B, or is what we call a perfect fifth. Now, the circle of fifths, if we go back to that major scale sheet, you'll notice that there's a C right at the top, and there's the scale written out. That's a C major scale. And then you'll notice right below that, there's the G major scale, and it's written out from left to right. And the C major scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And the G major scale is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. All right, so those two scales. I'd like to tell you a little story about when I was a teenager and I went down to the music store and I was looking for a song that I wanted to learn. And I said to the lady, I'm looking for this song. To tell you the truth, I don't remember what the name of it was. But it might have been a song by Jethro Tull or something like that. And I found the song, and it was in a book. And I only wanted that one song. And the book was $10. And I thought, man, I don't want to buy this whole book. $10. That seemed like a lot of money to me, especially since I was, I was about 14 years old. I had a job, and I was making $1.50 an hour. Now, in today's dollars here in the U.S. right now, that would be the equivalent of about $45. So think of it as going into a store, and they saying to you, okay, you want to buy this book? Great, it's $45, and you're thinking, I don't want to pay $45 for a song. Now this was before the internet. This was before we even had internet. Internet was not even born. It was not even thought of. There were no personal computers. I couldn't just click on something and bring up the song. I couldn't even click on the song, like on YouTube. There was no such thing as YouTube. There was no such thing as Napster. There was no such thing as any file sharing program or anything like that. You couldn't just find the song out there. You either had to go to the store and buy the record. There was no CDs at the time. Or you had to listen for it on the radio. And if you had a cassette player or some kind of a tape player or something, you could record it from the radio, which might have been, pirating at the time. But you know, otherwise you either had to listen to it live or you had to go buy the CD, or excuse me, the record. So, and now I had the record of this song, and I didn't know what to do. So I said to myself, well, you know what I'll do is I'll just try to figure out the song. So I listened to the song, and I tried to figure out the chord. Is that the chord? No, that's not the chord. Is that the chord? No, that's not the chord. Is that the chord? No, that's not the chord. And then by the time I tried these chords, the chord was gone. So I had to move the needle over to where I wanted to figure out that chord. Okay, I tried a C chord, now let's try a G chord. And I just started hunting and pecking, so to speak, just trying to figure out what was the name of that song? What was the name of that chord? Was it a G chord? Was it a C chord? Was it an F chord? Was it a D chord? I didn't know what to do. And so it took me hours to try to figure out that song. Well, when I got into college and I started taking music theory, they presented to me, you know, I got my book and they said, okay, now here are the notes in the scale. And I had been playing music for a long time. And so I picked up on this concept really quickly. I knew what scales were, I'd played scales before. And they said, these are the notes in the scale. Now, you can go to the major scale sheet, or you can go over to that other sheet that says intervals. That's the third comment that I have here, and you can click on that. And, oh, that's not the one I want. Let's see. No, it's just under C major scale. There it is. It says, well, it's the second. It says G to C example. Click on that. You'll notice that I've written out a couple of scales. One is the G major scale, and one is the C major scale. Now they said to me, now here are the scales. And right there in the C major scale, the first note is a C. And the note, the chord that you build on the C major scale, now if you go every other note in the scale, C, E, G, for those of you who are looking on the screen, play those together, C, E, G, that makes a C chord. Okay, now the next one, D, F, A, right? Right? The D, F, A makes a D minor chord. The E, G, B makes an E minor chord. The F, A, C makes an F major chord. The G, B, D makes a G major chord. The A, C, E makes an A minor chord. There it is. G, B, D, that makes a B diminished chord. And then we're back to C, E, G one more time, the C major chord. So those are the chords in the C major scale. And I went, oh, okay. And those are the chords that go together. Now, when for instance, when I figured out Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, I went to Jeff Buckley's version, and Jeff Buckley plays an electric guitar with the capo on the 6th fret, and he's playing a G chord. Right? And the first note has this, well, we're going to call it a G note. It's actually, what is that? It's actually a C sharp. And that's a B flat. But with the capo on, it looks like a G chord, right? And so we've got this note that looks like a G and this note that looks like an E. And so if you go to that file again, you'll notice that there's a G, right? A, B, C, D, E, G, A, B, C, D, F sharp, G. And those are the notes in the G major scale. When we build a chord on G, it makes a G major chord. When we build a chord on E, it makes an E minor chord, right? I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, right? And so right away, if you see that we're starting on a G chord, think, I wonder if we're in a G scale. We'll try the G chord. Da, 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 da. And if the next bass note is an E, well, the chord that is in that scale that makes sense is E minor. So try E minor. If that doesn't make sense, try E major, but that's not what it is, right? I heard there was a secret chord. No, that's not it. I heard there was a secret chord. That's it. Now, I decided that I didn't want to do Jeff Buckley's version exactly, and I didn't want to do it with a capo on the 6th fret, so I took the capo off. Now this note was a C sharp, and that chord that we were playing right here with the capo, it looks like a G, but it's actually a C sharp. And so I decided, instead of playing it in C sharp, I decided to play it in C. Now if you look at that file again, you'll notice that there's a G major scale, and then I have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we have the C major scale right underneath it, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And I've got the notes marked, the 2nd note and the 3rd note and the 6th note in the scale is marked with a minor, or a little m, next to the letter that it belongs to. Well, when you transpose from the key of G major to C major, all you do is you say, okay, the first chord was a G chord, which is the 1st note in the scale. Now I want to go to C major. I go to the 1st note in the scale in C major, and I'm going to play a C chord. Now, in G major, that goes, I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. So that's like the 6th chord, excuse me, the 1st chord, the G chord, going to E minor, which is the 6th chord in the scale, or the 6th chord. So what we do is, when we transpose it to the key of C, to the new key, we go to from the 1st chord to the 6th chord. So it's C to E minor. Excuse me. What am I doing? C to A minor. I have to slow down here just a little bit. My mind is going too fast. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. And that's how we transpose. We'll talk about this more in depth in a video. But when you want to transpose from one key to the other, you get those two keys side by side, and that's what you do. If it was a G chord, now it's a C chord. If it was an E minor chord, now it's an A minor chord. You just go down and change the chord. Okay, so let's see, have we covered everything yet? We talked about intervals a little bit. We talked about a perfect fifth, right? Which is E to B. Well, let's go back to that other file. C up to G, C, D, E, F, G. That's 5 notes. You count C as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C, D, E, F, G. You go from C to G. C to G is a perfect fifth. It sounds like the first 2 notes. First, twinkle, twinkle, little star. Sounds like those notes in Twinkle, Twinkle. That's a perfect fifth. Okay. Let's go to, the circle of fifths. The reason when you go to the right, it says C, G, D, A, E. The reason it does that is because it's going up by perfect fifths. That's why they call it the circle of fifths. And when you go to the left, it goes C, F, B flat, E flat, and that's going left or down the scale. C down to F is a perfect fifth. C down to F is a perfect fifth. That's an F to C. Okay, so it goes backwards or down the scale. C to F is a perfect fifth, F to B flat is a perfect fifth, B flat to E flat is a perfect fifth. Let's see what else I have here. Oh, you can click on the Hallelujah. Let's see, over at Crowdcast, you'll notice that there is the second comment that I posted says Hallelujah. There we go. And you just click on that link right there, and it will come right up. Hallelujah. I've heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? sheet. There's the lead sheet for you. We made that up for you. Let's see. Thank you for coming by. I don't see anybody interacting with me at this time, but that's okay. Not a problem. We will be back. I will post this in a few days. All right. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for coming by. Let's see. I hope this was helpful to you. We are going to make a video on scales. We actually already have recorded a video on scales. Something about them. Also, let's see, did we do intervals? I don't think I did. I did do a song. I did do a quick video on Jeff Buckley's Hallelujah. I will get that up in a few days. And we'll talk to you soon. Okay, thanks for coming by. See you later.